Okay, so like Joan said, this session is being recorded for quality assurance, and you all have been muted. And if you'd like, you can turn off your video or you can leave it on. It's up to you. So um, again, this is St. Mary's Library You Matter series, and I'm Cindy Maxted from Mid-Atlantic Mindfulness. I want to thank you for taking time to be here this evening. These sessions are a wonderful way to take care of yourselves, and so important for your health and well-being, and especially during this time when there's so much uncertainty and most of our lives have been turned upside down, in whether it's in our work situation, and some of us are working from home, so our home situations have changed, and so we're just trying to navigate through the daily life. And so this practice of being mindful and bringing meditation into your life can be a wonderful way to not only bring awareness to your body and what's happening with your thoughts and emotions, but where you're carrying stress and anxiety in your body. And so before we begin, I would like to just stop and take 3 deep breaths together. So let's do that. Okay, thank you. So a little bit about me. For those of you who were not on the call last week, I have been a nurse for over 30 years, and working in the hospital setting, in the ICU, and in the OR. And for the past 10 years, working in the school systems with young people and teachers and administrators. And really seeing an increase in not only the amount of stress and anxiety in our lives, but the amount of medications that we're giving our young people to deal with stress and anxiety. And really wanting to bring to my own work and my own practice another way of dealing with stress and anxiety. So I attended a conference in California called Bridging the Hearts and Minds of Our Youth. And I learned all about how they're teaching mindfulness and meditation in the schools. And so I became certified, and for the last 10 years have been not only working in school settings, I have been working in all types of settings, in senior centers, with first responders and corporations, and also doing, like Joan said, working in communities with different age groups at the library. So I feel like the luckiest person in the world that I'm doing this work, because not only am I hopefully helping and supporting other people in my own work, but I've noticed in my own life, in my own practice, that this has been very beneficial in my life. Does that mean that I'm free of stress and mindful all the time? Of course not. I wish I could tell you that I was an expert. But what it has done is brought awareness to moments in my life and times when I could have maybe handled certain situations differently. And so this practice has given me the ability to stop and notice where I'm holding tension in my body, but also notice how I am, the thoughts and emotions that are coming and going throughout the day. And so, and that's really mindfulness, is being present in the moment, using your 5 senses, including your thoughts and emotions, all from a place of kindness and compassion for wherever you are. And so, as this COVID-19 crisis continues, there are some days I'm sure that I'm like, oh, I think we're going to be okay. And this isn't so, I think I'm handling this okay. And then there's other days when I'm just like, what is going on? And so just noticing how often I'm listening to the news or other people and how that impacts my daily life. So, so not only are we experiencing stress and anxiety, this uncertainty and this not knowing what's going to happen day to day is really causing fear. And so tonight I want to talk a little bit about navigating through fear. And we can't really push the idea of fear away, but what we can do is embrace it and come from a place of kindness and compassion when we are experiencing great amount of fear. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So we're also going to talk a little bit about reframing the story that we tell ourselves. So whether that's when we're feeling stressed or when we're in that space of real fear, just noticing, is this fear real or is it false? And if it's false, noticing that and allowing it to let go. And then if it's true, then deciding what you need to do next. And so many times we are worrying about things that never happen. And so it's perfectly normal and it's okay, but it's just that practice of noticing, is this true? Or, is this real? And this practice of meditation is very helpful with that false fear, because that's all in our mind. And with real fear, that's real, and then we have to make steps to take care of whatever is happening. So those distinguishing between, is this true or is this false, can be very beneficial. And then just the practice of stopping and using our breath. That is such an important part of not only allowing our body to relax, but it also allows our mind to relax and be at peace. And so, and also able to see things more clearly. Sometimes we get really caught up in whatever's happening and we don't have that ability to step back, take a couple of deep breaths, and then respond in a different way to whatever is happening. So it's when we are not aware of this fear that we're having, and when it's overwhelming us, we begin to get into that fight or flight state, and we really have a hard time getting out of it and coming, realizing what's happening. So this practice is so important. When we practice, then we get better the more we practice. So studies have shown that if we practice meditation, which we're going to do tonight, 5 to 8 minutes a day over 8 weeks, that makes changes in our brain. And so, like I mentioned last week, the area of the brain that's responsible for our reaction to stress, the amygdala, can decrease over time. And that cortisol hormone, that stress hormone, also decreases over time. And then that area of the brain that's responsible for our happiness and making good decisions, that prefrontal cortex, that lights up. And so we know with studying a group of meditators that is what's happening with because of modern day science, and we can do MRIs on our brains. And then those that haven't meditated, they really see no change in the brain. So I just wanted to mention that and the importance of this practice. So before we begin the body scan and the meditation, I just also wanted to mention that we're going to have a little session about nutrition, and that's taking care of our heart. And tonight we're going to talk about foods that boost our immune system. And then at the end, we're going to do a quick chair, gentle stretching yoga exercise. So we're going to really take care of the body, the mind, and the heart. And each week is going to be that those three things that we're going to focus on. So any questions before we begin? And I have one question. Is there anyone that's here for the first time that's never meditated or have maybe not even heard of meditation or mindfulness? If you could just let me know. Okay. All right, great. So let's begin with a body scan. So finding yourself in a comfortable seated position, noticing your 2 feet on the floor and your arms and hands resting gently in front of you. Allowing your spine to be upright and alert with your shoulders relaxed. And if it's available to you, slowly begin to close your eyes. If closing your eyes is not available, leaving your eyes open, just gazing down at a spot in front of you so that you're able to keep that inward focus and not be distracted by any movement in the room. So with your 2 feet on the floor and your hands resting gently in your lap, taking a moment to check in, noticing your body feeling tense, at ease, just noticing, not judging, not making a story about it, noticing your body feeling at ease, tense, checking in. Taking a moment to notice your mind feeling active, calm. And as we begin to scan the body, noticing any areas where you hold tension, feel discomfort in your body, and allow that area to relax and let go. Beginning with the top of your head, allowing the top of your head to melt. Feeling your forehead, your eyes, allowing your eyelids to rest gently over your eyes. Feeling your cheeks, your jaw, softening your upper lip, your lower lip, as you allow your jaw to completely relax and let go. Feeling your neck, your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, and your hands. Taking a moment to notice your hands feeling warm, cool, any sensations in your hands. And allow your hands to completely relax and let go. Feeling your chest rise and fall with each breath. Your stomach expanding, softening. Feeling your upper back, your lower back, and your hips. Taking a moment to notice the chair or the surface beneath you. Completely supporting you, holding you upright as you allow your hips to completely relax and let go. Feeling your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, and your feet. Allowing your feet to soften and relax. Allowing the floor beneath you, the chair, to completely support you as you allow your entire body to relax and let go. And now, with your body relaxed, very slowly and gently begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. And very softly opening your eyes and coming back into the room. Taking a moment to notice your mind, your body, any changes that may have taken place with just that short body scan. And so as we talk about the mind part of this session, a lot of times people, again, will ask, what is mindfulness? What is is it the same as meditation? And again, just going over the definition of mindfulness, being present in the moment, using your five senses. So using sound, sight, smell, taste, touch, and feel, including your thoughts and emotions as they come and they go, because they do. All from a place of kindness and compassion for yourself. And meditation is what we're going to do tonight, is one way to cultivate mindfulness. And so there are many ways to practice mindfulness. Sometimes people will say, well, I don't really meditate, but I run and I cook, I sing, I play music, I paint. Yes, those are all ways to practice mindfulness. But meditation is another way. And again, I mentioned the benefits and the results of MRIs of people who did and who didn't. Meditation is, you can do seated or laying down, it doesn't matter. Either way is fine. Meditation is just being aware of and focusing on one thing. And so tonight we're going to use the breath, because the breath is always with us. We can use our breath anywhere, anytime. And so it doesn't have to be a formal sitting like tonight. or if you'd like to lie down, that's fine too. But you can use it in, at your desk, in the grocery store, wherever you are, in your car. You always have your breath. And so a lot of times people will say, well, I like to listen to music or waterfall, and that can be your focus as well. So whatever feels comfortable for you. We're going to use the breath tonight. And know too that when you come to this practice, each time can be different. So there'll be some times when you may feel really relaxed and calm, and there'll be other times when your mind is really active and it'll be hard to focus on your breath. And that is very normal. And so I just want to emphasize that it is that act of noticing your mind wandering, your mind being very active, and coming back to your breath again and again. That is meditation. It is that action of noticing, coming back again and again. You are doing it right. So they say sometimes you have 40,000 thoughts a day. So don't be hard on yourself if during this short practice that we're going to do tonight, you find your mind wandering. And I like to just name it, like with whatever's happening. Like if your mind is wandering maybe from something that happened yesterday, you can just say, that happened yesterday, come back to your body and your breath. Or worry about tomorrow, you can just name it, I'm worry. Or sometimes I like to, when I'm meditating, it's like, finally I have a chance to do the grocery store list. So I'll just say grocery store list, and then I'll come back. So for those of you who are longtime meditators, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who maybe this is your first or second time, just come to this practice with a gentle curiosity, not making a story about it, not judging it. Sometimes people will say, oh, my mind was so active, I can't do it. Just be patient with yourself and keep practicing. Yeah, and also know that this is a journey. It's not a destination. So some of you have mentioned that you were practicing for years and now you haven't been, or and now all of a sudden you'd like to get started again. Yeah, so don't be hard on yourself that you haven't been practicing. Let that go, and we start tonight. So let's begin. We're going to start with a short meditation, and I'm going to guide you. So there's nowhere for you to go, nothing for you to do. I'll just ask that you make sure that your phones are on mute so that you can enjoy this entire meditation practice tonight. And I'm going to turn on some music here. We will begin. So again, finding yourself in a comfortable position, noticing your 2 feet on the floor, your arms and hands resting by your side, and allow your shoulders to move away from your ears. And again, if it's available to you, slowly begin to close your eyes. If leaving your eyes open is more comfortable, that is perfectly okay. So again, checking back in, noticing your body. Taking a moment to check in, noticing your mind, active, calm. And we'll begin tonight's session by setting an intention. An intention is one word, phrase, something that you would like to see more of in your life. This word could be compassion, patience, strength, whatever word feels right for you tonight. on your next breath, taking a nice deep breath through the nose, repeating your intention silently, and exhaling. Again, breathing in your intention and breathing out. And one more time, taking a nice deep breath in and out. We'll start by following each inhale and each exhale. Bringing awareness to each inhale, allowing your body to relax even more on the exhale. Allowing each inhale to nourish you, each exhale letting everything go. Gentle with your thoughts as they come and they go. Gentle with each breath. Allowing your body to expand on the inhale, soften on the exhale. Aware of each inhale and each exhale. And as we slowly begin to bring this practice to a close, bringing to mind the intention that you said in the beginning. And on your next breath, taking a nice deep breath in. Breathing in your intention and slowly breathing out. Again, breathing in your intention and breathing out. And one more time, taking a nice deep breath in and out. Taking just another moment as you contemplate bringing that intention into your life. What does that intention look like? And giving yourself appreciation for this practice, knowing that this practice not only benefits you, it benefits others in your life. And when you're ready, slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers, and very slowly and softly opening your eyes, and very gently coming back into the room. Again, taking a moment to check back in, noticing your body, your mind. And so as we slowly transition into the nutrition part of this session, I always like to remind people that when your energy is feeling low, or you're experiencing a headache or stomach ache, often this is due to dehydration. And so really being mindful of how much you're drinking per day, and trying to get in at least 7 glasses of water a day. Often we will experience dry mouth, low energy, stomach ache, headache, and we often are not even, we don't realize that if we just had a couple glasses of water, that might help. So that often gets overlooked. And I just wanted to mention that. And also, I'm going to talk about foods that are, healthy and can increase your immune system. But also during this time of uncertainty and where we are today, having an occasional dessert or something that isn't on this list that I'm going to talk about is not a crime. And so it's just bringing mindfulness to when you are getting ready to eat. Are you eating because it's time to eat? It's lunchtime or it's breakfast time, or and so checking in with your body and what emotions and thoughts are coming in before you head to the refrigerator or the pantry to eat something. I often and lately I've been putting some of my healthier foods like in a clear container, so when I open the refrigerator door, it's the first thing I see. And same goes with the pantry. And so that's been very helpful. But here are some items that can be very beneficial to your immune system during this time. Oatmeal, brown rice, quinoa, and yogurt, Parmesan, and feta cheese are all really wonderful foods to boost your immune system, as well as chickpeas, lentils, black beans, corn, turmeric, ginger, Vegetables such as carrots, onions, spinach, kale, peas, sweet potatoes, mushrooms, lemons, limes are all wonderful items to have on hand as well. Fruits such as apples, mangoes, and kiwi are high in immune benefit that can be very beneficial to your immune system, as well as dark chocolate, green tea, and nuts. So an example of a day with foods that can boost your immune system would be for breakfast having avocado with an egg, fruit and yogurt. For snack, you could have whole grain crackers with tuna. And for lunch, vegetable soup with feta cheese and Parmesan cheese on top. Another nice snack is to have a handful of nuts. For dinner, having brown rice with salmon paired with a vegetable of your choice. And then at night, a green tea and dark chocolate are wonderful things to have on hand. I'd also like to, I mentioned yogurt. That is not only beneficial to your immune system, but very important for your gut health. So things such as sauerkraut, kimchi are also very gut-friendly foods that you can incorporate into your diet as well. So those are just a few to think about, and to, when you're planning your meals, think about foods that can help your immune system. So I would like to check back in with your body, your mind, before we begin these gentle exercises from your chair. And during these exercises, if something doesn't feel, if you feel any discomfort or it doesn't feel right, please don't continue, please stop. The exercises that we are gonna do tonight can be done from your desk, but really can be done anytime throughout the day. And these are also exercises that can increase your energy and are really good for your joints and connective tissue and organs even. Sometimes we don't realize as we move and we stretch, we're also taking care of our internal organs as well. It also, and I hope you'll experience this tonight, you'll have a sensation of maybe an increase in your circulation and movement in areas that you haven't really noticed before. So again, just finding your 2 feet on the floor and your arms and shoulders relaxed. I'd like you to just very gently and slowly begin to do some gentle neck rolls in one direction. Noticing any sounds or sensations in your neck with these gentle rolls. And then coming to center, and then very slowly in the opposite direction. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. Very gently coming back to center. Noticing any sensations in your neck. And then very slowly begin to do some shoulder rolls in one direction. They can be small. If you'd like to make them a little bigger, that's good too. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. Coming to stillness. And then very gently in the opposite direction. Taking a nice deep breath in and out. Coming to stillness, taking a moment to check in, noticing your neck, shoulders, any sensations, temperature changes. And now bringing your arms out to either side. And just in one direction, just some nice gentle arm circles. And then in the opposite direction, taking a nice deep breath in and out. And then coming to stillness. And then very gently, just some wrist circles as your arms are extended out to either side. In one direction, noticing sounds, sensations. Coming to stillness. Taking a moment to notice any sensations in your arms, having them out to either side. Your arms feeling heavy, light, just noticing. And then gently in the opposite direction, those wrist circles, very slowly. And then coming to stillness, and then bringing your hands together and shaking them out. Allowing your arms and hands to rest gently in front of you. Taking a moment to check back in. Noticing sensations in your neck, your shoulders, your arms, hands. And then in slow motion, bringing your arms up above your head. And taking your left hand around your right wrist. With your bottom grounded to the chair and your abdomen engaged, very gently coming over to the left side. Feeling the stretch in your hip, your side, your arms. Taking a nice deep breath here. Breathing in and lengthening. Breathing out, letting go. And one more time, taking a nice deep breath in and out. Very gently coming back up to center. Taking your right hand around your left wrist. Again, with your bottom grounded and your abdomen engaged, slowly coming over to the right side. Again, feeling that stretch in your hip, your left side, your arm. Taking a nice deep breath here. Breathing in and breathing out. One more time, taking a nice deep breath, lengthening, exhaling, letting go. Gently coming back up to center. And very, very slowly in slow motion, coming back down with your arms in your hands, resting gently in front of you. Again, checking in, noticing any changes in your neck, shoulders, arms, hips, sensations. And our last stretch will be finding yourself in a comfortable seated position, taking your right ankle over your left ankle, or if it's available to you, crossing your right leg over your left leg. And maybe even taking your right ankle on top of your left knee. So just wherever you feel comfortable. Noticing how that feels, any sensation. And if it's available to you, slowly bring your chest down towards your right knee. Feeling that stretch in your back and your hip. And taking a nice deep breath here. Breathing in and breathing out. And then very gently coming back up to center. Bringing your right leg down. And checking in, noticing any changes in your right side or your left side. And then very slowly taking your left foot over your right foot, or you're crossing your left leg over your right leg. And if it's available to you, taking your left foot on top of your right knee. Feeling that stretch in your left hip. And if it's available to you, slowly begin to lean your chest over your left knee. Feeling that stretch, breathing in and breathing out. Very gently bringing your leg back down. Taking a moment to check back in. Noticing just with those few exercises, any changes of energy, sensation in your body. And so we have a few, about 5 minutes left. I want to leave this time open for any questions that you have with any of the, what we did with the body scan, the meditation, nutrition, the stretching. Maybe some ways that you're finding useful and helpful during this time. If you'd like to share, you can take yourself off mute. Maybe something else that you would like to see during these sessions that would be helpful.
Cindy, I know that you mentioned chocolate. When you have come to the library, you've shared chocolate with us after the session, but you could have said any type of candy. You could have said, oh, take a peppermint or a butterscotch. Why is it chocolate that you refer us to?
Yeah, so the dark chocolate has a lot of antioxidants in it, and it can be very beneficial.
And I guess with the dark chocolate, it's more bitter, so you don't need to eat as much.
Exactly. Yes, being mindful of that as well.
And I have one more question. I keep hearing about kimchi, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so that's fermented vegetables.
Okay. So where do you find that in a regular grocery store?
Yeah, so I haven't purchased it myself, but I do know that they have it at Whole Foods and I think Mom's Organic. Does anyone else familiar with that? I've heard a lot of wonderful things about it. I just haven't myself had any. So
yeah, I'm wondering if you buy it in a plastic bag or is it in the fresh vegetables?
Let me interrupt. I've been buying it for years, and Giant has it in their produce section in jars.
Okay.
And it lasts a long, long time because it's already fermented.
So do you just eat a spoonful at a time or something?
You can eat a spoonful at a time, or you can mix it with meats if you want to. You can mix it with rice. It's very tangy, but it's very tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cindy, in your practice, do you find doing this at a specific set time?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like I do. I'll get going in my day and forget all about doing this stuff,
Yeah. So that's a great question. So studies have shown that if you'd like to start a practice, to do the practice the same time each day and at the same place. So then you get used to, you get into that habit, and when you continue it, people stick to it. It's when you're all over the place that sometimes it's hard to be consistent with it. So for me, morning is always the best time for me. And so I know if I don't get it done, if I don't practice in the morning, then it's hard to get to during the day. In the evening, I just get really busy. And for a long time, I would set my alarm and I would have it ring at a certain time each day. And so if I couldn't get to it in the morning, every day, no matter what, my alarm would go off at 3 p.m. And if I was working, or if I couldn't do a formal practice, I would just take 3 deep breaths. And so now it's so funny, because sometimes at 3 o'clock, even now I don't set my alarm, but sometimes I'm like, oh, it's 3 o'clock, let me stop. And I step back and take a couple deep breaths. And depending where I am, sometimes I just do like a really quick 5-minute meditation, very similar to what we did tonight. I'll just find my, center with my 2 feet on the floor. I'll find my breath, then I'll just follow my breath. And that can be sometimes if I'm in the backyard, out in nature, or if, I can't really close my eyes if I'm in my car driving. I used to, when I would drive home, when I pulled into the driveway before I would go in, I would just sit in my car for a few minutes and find myself centered and grounded and taking a couple deep breaths before I walked into the house. So people have all kinds of, ways that they remind themselves, whether it's setting an alarm clock. For me, when I was in the driveway, it was before I opened the door, like just to see the handle before I walked into a room. I would just try to remind myself to take a couple deep breaths.
As far as meditation goes, do you recommend, like I was having a tough time tonight, I think, because I just ate. Is it better to do it like on an empty stomach instead of, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a great question too. And so that's different for everyone. So sometimes people feel, if they're hungry, then they have a hard time focusing and staying, in their meditation. So sometimes people, after they eat, they feel more relaxed. So I think it depends on the particular person and what best. I would just experiment with it. But that's a really good point. If you just ate and you felt like your mind was wandering a lot, maybe just trying a different time of day. Yeah. Also know that just each time you come to the practice, it's different.
Cindy, I just saw a question in the chat. Is
perfect.
Meditation something you should add time to each time? So work up to, I guess, is the question, make it longer each time?
That's a great question. So I know I talked tonight about what studies show, like 8 to 10 minutes a day, but really, if you studies have also shown in that same study, if you don't have 8 to 10 minutes a day, even after 11 hours total, so that doesn't have to be over 8 weeks, that can just be over a month or 2, those same changes happen in your brain. So it's wonderful if you can, when you start to meditate, you can increase it each time. But I would really start out small. I would really, if you're interested in getting started, do baby steps, and then listen to your body, and you'll know, like, I can go a little bit longer. So for me, when I first started, it was like taking those 3 deep breaths was the beginning. And then it was like 1 minute. And then I did 3 minutes. Then there were times when I would have my, my clock, and I would be like, oh, that was 15 minutes. But each day was different. So it's, and it's different for everyone. So if you can make it longer, that's better. But I mean, it's not better. It's like, that's great. But really it's that practice of stopping throughout the day and noticing.
And the same person said, how do you track the time spent? Do you set
that's really good.
Do you make yourself finish, or do you just keep going and say, okay, I feel better, so I'll stop now? Or
Well, I really like to use that 8 to 10 minutes a day. And that gives you something to, work towards. And so if you can meditate more than 10 minutes, that's great. If that's what you're asking. So you can set like your stopwatch, or you can just like the kitchen timer. There's all types of ways that you can time it. There's also those apps I talked about last week, Insight Timer and Calm, and those will make a little ding after. You can set, like, I would do a 5-minute meditation, a 10-minute meditation, 30-minute meditation, and then it will ring after you're done to let you know.
now, do you find that if your mind is wandering, that one of your best practices is to always choose an intention, and that if you focus on that intention, your mind won't wander as much? Do you find that to be true?
That's a great question too. So and a lot of people ask that. They're like, am I supposed to say my intention over and over during the meditation? If that helps you stay focused, then yes, that is wonderful. So sometimes when I first started meditating, I would do this. I would be like, I am breathing in and I am breathing out.
Okay.
I am breathing in and I am breathing out. And I would just repeat that over and over. When I work in the schools with young people, we'll do this. We'll just do like this. We'll use the hand and we'll do, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. I am breathing in and I am breathing out. And so that's something that the kids could do at their desk. Now I have my hands on my lap, but they could just do this, like, I am breathing in and I'm breathing out. And there have been several times when I've been in a social situation and my hands have been under the table, and I'll do that exact thing. And it's just like having that touch with my body and my breath at the same time is a beautiful way to stop and pause.
Well, because I know that now with everybody, in stores with their masks on and being in these lines, and you feel like there are so many people in front of you in line that even the breathing may not help. But like you're saying, if you keep, I'm breathing in, that's actually sounds pretty helpful.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Those are great questions.
Does anybody have any other questions tonight? Cindy, this was great. I think the meditation is just great. As I was doing the neck exercises, I realized how stiff my neck is. My neck bones keep cracking.
I know.
So Cindy's going to join us again next Wednesday at the same time at 7 p.m. We'll start. So if you would like to join us again next week, make sure that you go to the St. Mary's County Library website and click on the program title, which is Self-Compassion During Times of Uncertainty and Change, and register again for next week. And then you'll receive the URL to sign into the Zoom meeting. So if that's all that we have, I want to say thank you, Cindy. And I know you're helping me.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks for joining tonight.
Thank you very much. Lovely.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for signing on, everyone.